Hello everyone and welcome to this video about Rollercoin. Today we will continue with our Rollercoin tutorial dedicated to new players who want to approach this game, talking about the shop and how to make purchases within it. If you haven't registered on Rollercoin yet, you want to take advantage of a small initial bonus, and you want to support this channel to produce new videos, consider registering using the link in the description of this video. It is absolutely not mandatory, but if you do it, it is something that costs you nothing, and for that I thank you. As you can see from the view of the main room, this section above is particularly rich, because in this period in which I'm recording this video there are several events going on. We'll take advantage of it in the next few days to deepen each topic with a dedicated video as usual. For now we'll just give a quick overview. Here you see the season section. Season number 7 is underway right now. And here we see the progress of the level I've reached. When I have collected all the necessary points, this indicator will reach the end and I will win the prize for this level. We've already covered the season in a previous video, there's not much more to say. The central section is dedicated to the mid-season event, which has just started. Again, we can see the progress to reach the next reward. Finally, we have the Advent calendar, a novelty introduced this year for the Christmas holidays. Every day we can redeem a prize for a symbolic amount of RLTs. Some prizes are definitely valid, others definitely not. We appreciate the gesture and collect what suits us. We can happily skip the rest. But today's video wants to focus on the shop, and to reach the shop with its sections you must first click on the cart icon. You see how many voices there are, and for convenience we'll start from the bottom up. We have already seen the 3 items at the bottom. They are those relating to gadgets or embellishments that we can use to make our room and our avatar more aesthetically pleasing. The trophies are those that we have won by completing previous missions. At the moment you cannot buy them, you must necessarily win them when it's time, but it is only possible to organize their arrangement on the shelf. In avatar hats we have our collection of hats that we have collected in our career. These are also not normally for sale, you have to get them by completing missions. Nobody really knows if in the future they could be purchased like the other objects that we will see, but for now they can only be won by playing, and here you can choose which one our character will wear. Similar story also for the skins, or for the furniture of our room. Some skins can only be won on special occasions, such as a season, while others can be purchased normally. I think this modern office is normally for sale. I already own it now, so I see it as purchased. If I remember correctly, I took advantage of a discounted offer some time ago. Now, since we are still close to Christmas, let's leave the Christmas decorations and move on to the next sections, which are the actual shop. In particular, here you can buy shelves, miners, and crates. The former are indispensable. In fact, your miners cannot work if they are not housed on a shelf or rack. Here in the shop you will find 2 types, with 3 and 4 shelves. Let me tell you right away, shelves of 3 don't make any sense. It is true that they cost a little less, and especially at the beginning you will have a hard time getting even those few cents, but the 4 shelves ones are certainly the wisest choice. In fact, they will accompany you throughout your entire roller career. This Christmas, the Rollercoin team has introduced another category of limited series racks, which offer a small bonus, but it is obvious that the sacrifice is not worth it, especially if you are mere mortals and have no pumped miners. The benefit is practically zero. At the moment, I believe these classic racks of 4 will still have a very long life. And so let's move on to the miners, your real source of computing power and consequently of cryptocurrency production. In the shop you can always find, at any time of the year and in unlimited quantities, the miners that we will call classics. These are the historic miners who have accompanied Rollercoin since the dawn of time. In the beginning, there were only these that you see in the game. A player began to accumulate the first 2 or 3 RLTs with difficulty. He bought a rack and his first entry-level miner. I remember that in my case it was half a party. The top of the range was El Monstro, you couldn't ask for better. Setting aside 99 RLTs was a real goal. Even today, if you are a beginner, it takes months. Then special limited series miners began to appear, like these that you see as sold out today. It was the golden age of the Dogecoin pump. It had to flip Ethereum, sure how not, and therefore it was logical to dedicate a miner to this promising shitcoin. Then there were the special miners for Christmas, the Santa sleigh, the one for St. Patrick's Day, the patron saint of Ireland, and so on and so forth. By now the marketing wheel had started turning, and from there on the game was inundated with the worst crap. Now there are hundreds of miners, each one more beautiful than the last, all shiny and colorful. In every season and every event there are a dozen new miners. You have to collect them all. Now, I think we will talk about how marketing works another time. I plan to address this topic by dedicating a video to it. Returning to our shop, we understood that the historical miners remained here, normally at full price. In fact, previously I had already defined this the game boutique. Occasionally, exceptionally, you can find some discounted offers. Otherwise, be assured that you will certainly not get a good deal here. And now I introduce a very important topic that we will deal with in detail in the dedicated chapter. Since the marketplace was introduced, i.e. the second-hand market where users can trade directly with each other, the shop has almost completely lost its reason for existing. Only a fool would buy a chupacabra at the full price of 17 RLTs. In the marketplace, you can get it for less than a half. Just to give an example, unless for your own reasons you don't want to buy a stock of 100 in a single shot, the shop is now a vintage thing. There are hundreds of miners, too many. Every 15 days there is a special and unmissable offer. Many are obtained for free by completing missions. As it is right now, the shop is outdated and basically useless. Crates, or loot boxes, were introduced relatively recently. They capitalize on the thrill that betting and gambling give you. How do they work? First of all, there are different types of boxes, not all of which are always available. Some are created for special periods such as celebrations in some corner of the world, or reproposed for limited periods. Right now we can see that this particular one is available in the shop. Inside the cases there are miners belonging to a limited edition series. For example, in this Oriental-inspired chest we can find beasts like dragons and the like. To open a chest we have to pay in RLTs. It's not cheap. In this case we see that it costs 25 RLTs. It's like buying a lottery ticket. Inside the chest we will find one of these miners. Obviously the chances of finding the most powerful are practically nil. It is much easier than we will find one of the scarcer miners. In general, in all boxes or more generally whenever you have to play a probability, winning the yellow reward will be almost impossible. Then gradually the purples and blues, up to the white prizes that most of the time are not even worth the price paid. Here you have to do the math. If you think you're particularly lucky, try it. I've opened some cases in the past, but not for 25 RLTs. The odds of winning a small prize are too high. Do yourself a favor and go directly to the marketplace to look for the miner you like best. You will certainly spend less. However, it must be said that, in some circumstances, the opening of a chest is expressly required to complete a mission. Also in this case, before acting at random, do the math. It may be that there are more optimal solutions, or that it is not convenient to complete that specific task at all. Nobody forces you to do anything. We end our shop overview with these sections above, which as you can easily see already stand out visually, starting with the different color. These entries in yellow may not always be present. Indeed, do not be surprised if in different periods some were absent, or if there were none at all. They are, so to speak, special offers, or offers valid only in particular circumstances and for limited periods. For example, the first includes some miners that are offered at discounted prices. Just a couple of considerations. Although the prices might seem attractive, and this for example certainly is, compared to the original full price, always check what the marketplace offers, because you will almost certainly find it at even lower prices. There's little to get around it. The marketplace has killed the game's economy. As things stand now, no scrupulous player would ever buy anything in the shop, knowing that he can spend less elsewhere. The other aspect to consider, which I believe is intertwined, is that here you will hardly find offers for 5 or 6 RLTs. As you might agree, these are not prices for everyone, certainly not for a novice free-to-play. Collecting 20 RLTs for someone who has just started already requires a fair amount of effort. Since we have just said that it is often more convenient to buy directly in the marketplace, it is logical to understand that it is not convenient for anyone to put minor offers for a few pennies. It is worth keeping medium-high offers. In this way, if one falls for it, at least he will have spent a significant amount. In the crafting offers, when present, we can find what we could call the recipes to use some of our components in stock to craft new miners. Provided, of course, that you have these components. Also in this case, unfortunately, we have to note that the Rollercoin team lately tends to favor the wealthiest players, which is also logical as you have to squeeze where there is something. Certainly not from free-to-play players who calculate every move with extreme judgment. You will hardly find the possibility of crafting something using standard components. In the last period, also on social networks, users complain, but the team turns a deaf ear. It is literally appropriate to say it. However, the concept is this. Here you will find the list of necessary components. If they are green, it means that you already own them. But if they are red, you do not have them in stock and you will have to get them somehow. If you have all the components, you will spend the indicated amount of RLTs and send your new miner into production. It will not be created immediately, but it will take the time indicated for each formula. You will then return after this time and find your new miner in your inventory. The idea is good, but, not to repeat myself, currently not very convenient. Premium components cost money, and not everyone has them in inventory. Doing the math, it is better to buy the miner already made and ready to use, without much banging. However, everyone is free to do as they please. We have already seen Event Pass. It is the menu of the current season, the same one that can be reached from the yellow icon at the top. Here you will find the list of daily missions and your general progress within the season. Finally, we see the season store. As the word itself says, this is a section of the shop that isn't always there, but only when a season is underway. The peculiarity of this area is that here, unlike all the rest of the game, you don't pay in RLTs, but the items are purchased using a new token specifically dedicated to the seasons, which is called RST. Just to complicate our lives and make the game a bit busy. RSTs can be mined like any other cryptocurrencies in the game, or they can be obtained as a reward for some missions. With the RSTs you can open these special boxes that contain basic level components, or buy these miners in a special series. The items for sale will change for each season, so come and check what's on sale, depending on the period. Just so we don't miss anything, even here we have our mystery box. At the modest expense of 1500 RSTs, we will be able to try our luck and get one of these miners. As always, very scarce the first ones, and decent the best, even if practically impossible to win. My advice is, spend your RSTs carefully. I wouldn't open one of these chests for any reason in the world. Much better to accumulate everything you can to buy the most powerful miner you can afford in the end. But I repeat, you are free to adopt your best strategy. In any case, a miner is always a miner, and will continue to work indefinitely. If you really have no alternative, then go ahead and get one of these boxes, whether or not you have a little luck. There is someone who wins the lottery. Well, this concludes our analysis of the store. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful in some way, and see you soon for a new topic of this free-to-play Rollercoin tutorial. See you soon!